Man, what's going on, huddlers? You're now tuned into Deep in the Huddle with Nix and Messiah, Season 1,
Episode 13.
First episode in 2019.
Sheesh. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everyone, obviously.
Yes.
Great way to start the 2019 with the playoff edition here as we wrap up the regular season.
Yeah, I hear that. It's about that time.
Yeah.
Long season. Long.
Right. Now, stuff's about to get cooking. We're down to 12. Trim some of the old fat.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you? Christmas good? New Year's good?
Man, I can't complain about nothing, man. I mean, like, I got to sit around and enjoy myself, watch my kids enjoy themselves. I mean, you know, as you get older, you know, all that other stuff that we were worried about when we were younger, like and you're just happy to be healthy. I mean, in your case right now you aren't, but you know, you're just happy to be healthy. You have your life, you watching people grow and, you know, and succeed. And those are the things I'm happy and content for, man. And watching my kids smile. It's about it.
Them little things we take for granted a lot of the times.
Yeah.
No doubt. And yes, unfortunately, excuse the voice, huddlers, and those that are tuning in, I have brought the flu with me from 18 to 19.
Yeah.
So, I'm here. I'm not quite on injury reserve. Just a little bit. Just enough to get by for tonight.
Questionable.
Yeah, it was a game time decision.
Yeah, no doubt.
But without that being said, hope everyone's Christmas and holiday was wonderful. And let's get into some of this football.
Yeah.
Dolphins Bills wrap up the season. 42-17 for the Bills. That boy Josh Allen goes out on a high note with 5 touchdowns. And was enough to cost Mr. Gaze his job as the head coach of the Dolphins.
Yeah, it's not really sure what happened there. I don't know if they just gave up. They quit on him. I mean, I don't know. Dolphins, I mean, I guess it was, I don't know about you, but for me, I think last year it was time. But, you know.
Right.
You know.
Of course, you know, they had the quarterback missing, so you had to see what happened whenever Tannehill came back.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, as I was watching the games, I hit him on one of the smaller TVs out the corner. I was like, oh, man, Bills up 14-0. I was like, ooh. And then I looked up, I was like, oh, Dolphins scratched back. It's 14-14. And then the Bills were like, and that's enough of that. So, you know, good way for the Bills to end the season on a high note. Again, like I said, with their quarterback, the Rook, you know, with 5 touchdowns. Looks like there's about to be a lot of changes in Miami. Obviously, the coach is gone. Word is Tannehill is going to be out too. Some repositioning of the front office as well. With Tannenbaum, looks like he's being reassigned inside the front office. So Bills finished at 6-10, and the Dolphins finished at 7-9.
Yeah, amen. Season crazy one for both those teams.
Yeah, and then over to Green Bay, where the Lions shut out the Packers 31-0. Ugly game.
Concussed, man.
Yeah, I mean, stop me when we had this before. A-Rod being hurt, and you know, again, I don't want to be a bearer of bad news, people. And I said this earlier in the year when he got hurt. Sometimes when you carry a team so long, I said it earlier. If you've been, you know, tuned into the podcast a lot, I saw it with Romo, and then once it started happening, it just was always something happening. And now with A-Rod, it just kind of seems like now it's just something. You know, it was the collarbone last year. Okay, well, now it's the knee this year. Now all of a sudden, the last game of the year, well, now we're concussed. Hopefully they can get that line fixed up for him. Or this is going to be a continuing theme for Green Bay, no matter who comes in and takes over as head coach for them.
You know, and the sad part about this is all that you said that they need to do for A-Rod, it won't matter. No one's going to care. They're just going to say he was one and done, won one Super Bowl, and that's it. Sad.
Right. Yeah. No, he's, you know, I mean, you know, they'll point at the check and whatnot as well. But
I mean, also, man, you know, 2 teams, believe it or not, like, I don't think you really saw maybe the Packers being or the Lions being where they are right now in that division. And the two teams, man, you definitely need to reassess.
Right.
You know what
And
I
I
mean?
mean,
To
and it's kind of
compete.
crazy. Right. Because I mean, they're basically, I mean, not mirror images, obviously, but I mean, 6-10, 6-9-1.
Yeah.
You know, two quarterbacks, early mid-30s. You know, I mean, there's some parallels there between them two. Now, obviously, Green Bay's looking for a new head coach. You know, on the other side, the news that came out of Detroit was Detroit's possibly open to trading Matt Stafford and also didn't renew offensive coordinator Jim Bob Cooter as well.
Yeah.
So some changes definitely still happening in Detroit.
Yep.
On to New England, where the Patriots caught a Jets team ready to go on vacation and beat them 38-3.
Yeah.
Patriots finished up the year 11-5, get that first round by the number 2 seed. Jets 4-12, and on their way of searching for who's going to lead their organization with the young Sam Darnold into next season.
Yeah. Sad part about this is, right, this kid is just showing some progress, like showing himself as a talent, and now we're gonna go ahead and take that coach away. Granted, he had 4 years. Also, at the same time, I mean, he didn't have Darnold until this year. So I just think, in reference to the kid, I just hope that they get a coach that's going to continue to help him grow, progress, because I don't want to see a coaching change, stun his growth, man. He looks like he could be one of the good ones. So.
Yeah, no doubt. And another thing interesting to me, was they were talking to Adams and, and he was basically saying, we need players. Didn't really say much about the coach and saying we need players. And, I mean, we've mentioned that before and talked about it. There's just not much help on that side of the ball. I mean, you get a rookie, quarterback, and I don't care who the head coach is. If you don't have enough dogs on that side of the ball, you're going to have some issues.
Right.
Yeah, Jamal's definitely a proven winner. We know what he's about, what he brings to the table.
Him and his dad too.
Yeah, no doubt. And what we always go back to in some of this, as we're getting to some of these coaches that are gone, some of these GMs, man.
Yep. Can't say it enough.
Okay, kind of getting the old skate by a little bit here, and I'm like, man, I don't. Some of these guys need to go with the head coach as well. Yeah. And I'll just kind of leave it at that. But another running thing, too, as we get through this, typically, when you get a rookie quarterback, kind of gives you a little bit of time as a head coach. And, some of these guys we're not seeing that with, obviously. But on over to New Orleans, Panthers, Saints. Panthers get the win, 33-14.
Yep.
I definitely paid attention to this game personally because I wanted to see Teddy Bridgewater.
Right.
I mean, maybe it was just a very vanilla attack on what was going on. I don't know. I don't feel like they maybe exactly game planned to win this game. I mean, they had everything locked up. They arrested a lot of people. It just didn't seem like Teddy Bridgewater was really put in a good position to win, to really go out here and show off his skills, maybe per se.
Yeah.
Panthers were definitely lighting it up, trying to get on there. I mean, Kyle Allen gets a start. Kid played pretty good, 16-27 for 220 and 2 touchdowns before he got hurt.
Yep.
Yeah. But Carolina wins at 33-14. They finished the year at 7-9. Ron Rivera is safe. They've already came out and said he'll be back next year. Saints number 1 seed locked up, obviously 13-3. For those that are into history repeating itself, in 2009 when they went 13-3 and won the Super Bowl, they lost to the Bucks, Cowboys, and Panthers. Your 2018 edition Saints have done exactly the same. We'll see if it pays off for them.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Next up,
Jags, Texans. Texans get the division, 11-5. They're able to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 20-3. Flamethrower, I believe, is what we had the conversation we were talking about.
Yeah, flamethrower.
Jacksonville, the whole front office, the whole whatever,
the
just
whole management.
Flamethrower. Just I don't know something went very awry there. I've seen people say, well, they extended Blake Bortles, and that was it's more than that to me.
Yeah.
It's more than just having a crappy quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, firing Tyrone Wheatley, the running backs coach, is not going to. That's not going to help Leonard Fournette not get injured. It's not going to help the situation with T.J. Yeldon, and you guys basically treating him like a second class citizen. Leonard's going this week. Or maybe no, maybe not next week. All right, he's not going the next week either. And then he's getting nicked up. And then now the blame's all on them. I mean, the big old statement being released by Tom Coughlin on the two of them. And, man, flamethrower. Just torch the whole thing.
Just torch it. Yeah. Line the match and walk away.
Yeah, man, exactly. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah, but Texans, get the division title in the hotly contested AFC South.
Right.
They'll be welcoming in the culture in a little bit. So congratulations to the Texans, man, locking it down and getting the division title.
Yeah, nice job by the Texans this year.
Yeah, no doubt. On to New York, where the Cowboys went and faced the Giants. For a game, quote unquote, that didn't mean much for either team outside of draft position for the Giants, and the Cowboys are pretty much locked into the 4th seed. Maybe the most exciting game of the weekend. It was a lot of fun.
We know the rivalry's still there, apparently.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I had a couple of friends that was in the building in Jersey for the game, and said, man, they both of them was like, man, I'll tell you what, the crowd was electric that game.
Yeah. Well,
so
the only
Cowboys and Giants.
Yeah. The only thing, we know how it is when we meet up. It's just, you know what though? I'm just not a fan. Like, man, something happens to one. Like, y'all sat Zeke.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, did you sit Amari?
No, Amari played. We said Zeke. We said Martin. We said Tyrone.
Okay. Yeah. And then I'm like, man, if something were to happen, like,
oh yeah,
that's bad business, man.
Super bad.
That's bad business.
Yeah. They rolled the dice. They rolled the dice a little bit. There's no, I mean, and then on top of not even just the fact that Martin and Tyron Smith are out.
Yeah.
Your guard gets hurt for the game. He's out.
Right.
So you're down 3 per se.
Yeah.
And you roll with Dak. I mean, something happens to Dak, and then you're starting a playoff game with Cooper Rush.
Yeah, brother.
I mean, it was a roll of the dice. And I mean,
just as a football fan and a strategist, like, that's not good strategy. I mean, if you're trying to go play next week in Seattle.
Yeah. Hey, I agreed. Sure, the optics now look good because, you won the game, and look how you won it, and now you have momentum. And then if you go and lose next week, what did it all mean? I guess maybe to a certain extent, after 16, you kind of set everybody week 17, and then you had the slow start against Green Bay in the divisional round. So maybe that was some of the thinking there. But I mean, I was okay playing him a half. Okay, play him a half.
Maybe so.
Play him a half.
Yeah, I said the same thing.
21-10. Once you were up 21-10, pulling, and then don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Happens. So, that's kind of where I would have been at. But they played them. They ended up getting the win 36-35 to get the 10-6. Giants end up at 5-11. So, interesting game. It was very intriguing for sure.
A minute and a half left. You're up on the Cowboys, and
rolls out and throws it.
No soup for you.
Yeah, man, we were sitting. I was just like, man, what is going on here?
and no Odell, and
okay. And then the whole game, and real quick before we go on here, we're going to spend too much time. But the whole game, Cowboys get up 21-10.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's 2nd and 20, and Saquon gone for 68 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that point forward, all of a sudden, New York just started clicking. I was like, oh, my God.
Cody Latimer doing his best Odell Beckham impersonation while Odell was sitting.
Yeah, the one-handed catch on the sideline. Yeah.
Stop already. I think Odell said the same. He tweeted the same thing, stop it.
Very exciting game. But onto Tampa, which the Falcons and Bucks had a pretty exciting game as well. Mm. Bucks had it, and then the Falcons stole it at the end with the last second field goal. 34-32. Falcons get 7-9. Bucks fall to 5-11. And of course, as we've said from the outset, Dirk Cutter out of there. Bye-bye.
Yep.
See you later, Mr. Cutter. One of these points also, as we were just talking about GMs, I know you feel the same way here as I do. GM should probably be gone as well, but looks like he gets to stick around.
Hey, man, Jameis, I'm going to tell you how good of a game Jameis played. Normally the announcers for these games, and they got something to say. It's about Jameis's past or him making mistakes or whatever. I mean, you haven't been able to say that the last 3 or 4 weeks because I think he's only thrown 2 picks in the last 3 or 4 weeks. But neither here nor there. It was such a good game. Like, I think Stink was announcing. I think Schlereth was announcing for that game. And Mark Schlereth was like, man, look at these passes. He's just dropping it in. Jameis is putting it in the perfect place. And I'm like, yeah, man. And then I heard the GM come out saying that they're keeping him. I'm like,
yeah,
man,
yeah,
let him out of there, man. Stop playing.
I mean, if
playing,
just like I said, the meanest tweet I saw this weekend was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are just the Cleveland Browns with better weather now.
You told me that earlier, yeah.
Tough.
Yeah, buddy.
I was like, God, that's so tough. But if they're able to land a good coach, look, we're believing on this show.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all haven't heard or haven't figured it out yet, we're believers in Jameis still.
Yeah.
We're big believers in Jameis. I know a lot of people are going to pull their hair out and like, y'all are crazy, but that's okay. We'll stick by that.
And if you're worth any salt in any kind of football knowledge, especially about the QB position or coaching, like who has he had that's helped him to get to the next level as a college quarterback to pro? Who has he had?
No doubt.
He hasn't had a McVay. He hasn't had a Peyton.
No.
You know what I mean? I mean, for goodness sake, like, he hasn't had any of the Harbaugh brothers. Like,
right.
He hasn't had none of that. He's had Lovie Smith, who's running a crappy program down at Illinois University right now, still doing crap, and they're still paying him. And I think they extended him just recently, too.
Tough.
And they just cut the head coach that took over for Lovie. Come on, man.
Yeah. Definitely an interesting hire there, no doubt.
Yeah. Next
on over to Kansas City,
yeah.
Raiders, Chiefs. And Chiefs leave no doubt, beating the Raiders 35-3, getting them to 12-4, locking up that number 1 seed in the AFC. Raiders fall to 4-12 and go hire TV personality Mike Mayock for their GM position. Should be interesting to see what happens there with him and Chucky.
Hey, man, I never seen, the last time I seen this kind of flurry of social media buzz about someone getting a job or getting paid was when Odell got his contract earlier before the season. Like, people were like, "Oh my God, Mayock, man! Like, we're gonna miss him, man.
Yeah.
The Raiders, they don't know what they're getting. Blah blah blah. Man, I'm looking forward to all that knowledge that we were gonna have on the draft. Man, now Mayock's gonna go and build the Raiders with like." People were ecstatic about Mayock getting this gig, man.
Yeah. And I think, one, the time that he's put in, the 14 plus years.
Yes.
And not scouting for one team, he's scheme fitting for every team.
Right.
So that's definitely a different animal. And then two, the other thing that I believe anyways, that's huge, having him in office there. Mm-hmm. He's not a yes man.
No.
And that's definitely Gruden. We know Gruden knows offense, okay? We know he can coach offense.
Right. We know he can design offenses.
Right. Now, we know, especially at his time in Tampa, drafting, not his forte.
Nah.
And that might be a matchup that works pretty well with them, too. It's a guy that's not going to let, Chucky get too off the beaten path. Mm-hmm. And the day has come for him to see. I'm excited to see what Mayock does.
Oh, definitely. And that's the second smartest move Gruden's made since he's gotten to Oakland. Other than signing his contract for $10 million, 10 years each year. I mean, like, that's the smartest move he's made. Was grabbing
don't you make me laugh with this. I'll be over here hacking all over the microphone.
I'm sorry, man. I'm just saying. That's the second smartest move he's made, right? I mean, and then like Mayock, right? God. Mayock ain't too far away. Look, we watch that guy. Like, there's other broadcasts that are on. And then when you flip and you see Mayock, you start listening, and then you listen, and then let me put the remote in my. Then let me put the remote down. I think I'm stuck right here. It's like you're getting ready to leave the house on Saturday, and you turn on USA Network or Lifetime Movie Channel or whatever and see a movie, and you just sat down and you're froze.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, Mayock, man, he's not too far off on talent either, bro. Like this ain't who was it? McShay, you know what I mean? Or one of these other dudes out here, draft forecasting. This is Mayock,
Yeah. I mean, they all have their misses. I mean, I know the big one that Mayock always gets hammered on is, he had Blaine Gabbert over Cam Newton.
Yeah.
We all have our misses. I mean, that happens. It's not an exact science, I mean, he's not pulled the Kuiper where, Kuiper said, if this guy's a bust, the Notre Dame kid, the Blondie, oh man.
Who was it?
Oh, after Brady Quinn, man, what was that kid's name?
Jeez, man, you making me go back now.
God. Oh, man,
I can't even remember.
Anyways, but he was like, if he's a bust, I'll come back here. And yeah, that kid was pretty much a bust. And Kuiper was like, whatever, next.
Yeah, I just heard that story come back up recently too. But yeah, man, good for them though.
But good for Kansas City. Also, I mean, just to touch base, Patrick Mahomes, obviously 5,000 passing yards, also 50 touchdown passes. If he's not the MVP, I'll be surprised.
Bro, I definitely didn't miss on that pick. That's all I got to say about that.
No doubt.
I didn't miss on that.
No
it hurt, and it hurts a little bit more every week.
All right.
When I watch him.
If he was just in that giant blue.
If we'd have just got him. Oh, well.
On over to Seattle. Yeah. The Cardinals and the Seahawks in a very tight game. Seahawks had to win there at the end, 27-24. Cardinals fall to 3-13, secure the number 1 pick in the draft, and their first-year head coach is fired. And the early word is they threw the whole shebang at Mike McCarthy. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but Seahawks get to 10-6, secure them a trip to Dallas. Again, they just kind of found their way. They won 7 of 8. The Seahawks have. Obviously wasn't going to get the division because of the Rams, although they did play the Rams very good 2 times. But 10-6, for a lot of people that thought, the Seahawks are going to be on a rebuilding trail here, man, they retooled on the fly pretty quickly.
Yeah, a lot of conversation, going on, a lot of moves being made, a lot of conversation about those moves being made, the destruction, or the dismantling of the Legion of Boom and, the run game, abysmal, like, Russell Wilson not looking the same, but really because of the offensive line not really being able to protect him and all those other things, man. And I mean, even small conversations about Russell Wilson probably not staying. They're probably out of here when that contract's up. And heck, until they extended him, we didn't even know Pete Carroll was staying.
Right.
So, I mean, that's, it's just one of those things, man. Like sometimes, man, like we always say it, man, there's plenty of games to be played. There's plenty of football to be played. And I think, I mean, we know what we mean when we say it, but I mean, I guess maybe for people out there, like, don't be so quick to run your mouth about what you predict or think is going to happen in this sport. In this game, man, not only on Sundays, but any day, anything can happen in this game. So, yeah,
you win. I mean, indeed, everything will be hunky-dory. Yeah. Lose 3 straight and everyone's fired, or oh my God, everything's terrible. And then you win 4 out of 5, and hey, like they say, winning cures all. So and losing stinks.
So they say.
Oh man, speaking of those Niners Rams, Rams closing out the year, their last 2 games offensively, getting back on track a little bit. Obviously finding someone to run the ball for them. C.J. Anderson, another game over 100 yards. I mean, just toting that rock, letting Gurley get even more healthier. Rams get the win 48-32. Maybe the keynote here is earlier, Kansas City's tight end, Mr. Travis Kelce, broke the yardage from Gronk for tight ends in the season, only to be had by Kittle just a few moments later and eclipse him and hold on to it for like about 30, 40 yards. So Kittle is your now all-time leader in single season for tight ends, like 1371, I think, is what it is. But the Rams get to 13-3, lock down the number 2 seed. Niners locking up a number 5, or a top 5 overall pick at 4-12. Um, Interesting because the Rams get kind of lost their way, especially after the the Chicago loss, and they came home and lost to Philly. It's like, oh man, this is starting to go the wrong way. Very underrated move signing C.J. Anderson in back-to-back weeks, and the offense looks like it's back to where it needs to be heading into the playoffs.
Yeah. I'm just watching the Niners and watching as they perform, and they got some underrated talent over there. You're not hearing
Correct.
you're hearing the George Kittles. Obviously, it's the can't wait for the return of the Mac, aka Joe Garoppolo, and like the coach. I mean, like maybe we forget that guy's an offensive genius. I mean, he's had to work with less before and has succeeded. So, I mean, very curious to see what happens when they get Jimmy Garoppolo back. And this offense, he gets his legs under him and this offense starts to click. And, what moves can be made. I mean,
maybe an AB.
Right. As we come to the Pittsburgh game coming up soon, maybe as they make roster moves, maybe,
we'll see. Yeah,
maybe definitely. Odell. I saw that floating around.
I saw that floating around too. That was weird. I was like, but neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Chargers on to Denver.
Yeah.
Was hoping for a little luck, them win and KC lose and they get the number 1 seed. Didn't happen, but they did get their win to get to 12-4. They beat the Broncos 23-9 in the end. Ended up costing Mr. Vance Joseph his job in Denver.
Yeah.
Said it before. I'll say it again. I'll continue to say it until John Elway and that ownership gets situated and he gets a little checked and some things happen. I just don't know how that situation is going to get rectified over there. I think you posted the statement from Harris.
Yeah, Chris Harris.
That was the tidal wave, talking about playing the same since the Super Bowl and stuff like that. Thought that was very revealing from him, and it makes a ton of sense as well too.
Also, kind of maybe, I mean, how many head coaches have been there since they've been to the Super Bowl?
2, right?
2? At least 2.
Yeah, 2, right?
Maybe 3. They're probably on their 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Hey, maybe Elway trying to pull the old Jerry Jones effect.
Oh, well, it's about to be their 3rd, I guess, because it's Coobs, then Coobs couldn't hack it, and then they brought in Ants, and now we're figuring it out there.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Elway telling them what to run instead of what the coach's philosophy is.
Maybe, again,
I mean, if you've been running the same thing since the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
And you've changed coaches.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got the 2 pass rushers. I get that. You've shipped some old heads out on the defense, whatever the case may be. It's just, I still just go back to the biggest conundrum for them is Elway outside of going out and signing a Peyton Manning, which we all could have done.
Yeah. Flopped on every QB pick.
Everything. I mean, picks.
Every QB move. Yep.
Move. Yeah.
Trade, transaction, roster, whatever.
Period. Every single one has
addition, subtraction. Yeah.
Flopped. Yeah. And if you can't get that figured out, it's just going to be very rough.
Yeah.
Going to be now the Gary Kubiak stuff was kind of mentioned about him coming in and doing some stuff. So we'll see what's going on there. But Denver finishes up the year at 6-10.
Yeah.
So good. They did find some things though. Now a couple of rookie running backs.
Yep. They found a good receiver.
Yeah. Sutton over there from SMU, the wide receiver. Chubb on the other side of Von Miller. I mean, there's some pieces here now.
And I'm kind of angry about that too. The whole deal with them and how the season is kind of gone for them, the Broncos. Like, because I mean, Roquan Smith probably was out there on a few too many snaps than needed to be, instead of getting the knowledge that he needed. There's too many situations that they were in, I think, where they could have been using him for teaching moments. Like Vaughn could have been using it for teaching moments instead of, not now, kid. This is the play. This is your assignment, and don't miss whatever coverage that you have. Right. Yeah. And instead of, all the other, things that you get to do, like for the Bears, for instance, look at the Bears and who they just drafted. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. And then that kid getting to flourish a little bit, being around Trevathan and Khalil Mack and those guys. Like, now you get to learn the game. You can see the game, and there's guys out there that can see the game differently than you can. not that there aren't studs on Denver's defense, but when you're playing behind the 8 ball all the time, when your offense can't move the ball, and you're out there and your mind is mentally fried, man, you're not teaching nobody nothing.
Yeah, tough sledding, man.
Yeah, man.
But speaking of Chicago, they did go ahead and finish up the season sweep of the Vikings.
Yeah.
On the road, 24-10.
Yeah.
They were locked into the number 3 spot, but what it did do is make sure the Vikings aren't going to be in the playoffs, and they don't have to see them for a third time. Vikings finish 8-7-1. Bears 12-4. Gonna be some questions, obviously, in Minnesota.
I was just about to say that little heater that you drop, that little oil you put in the pan. Yeah, the fire just got turned on the pan, bro.
Yeah. It's just, we talk. Some of the best teams, what they do is self-evaluate the proper way. And we just talked about the Broncos, and now we're talking about the Vikings. And to be honest, Vikings would have been better off keeping Case Keenum than what Case Keenum did in Denver. And the reason being is you went 13-3. We know it was the miracle for you to get to the championship game. We understand that side of it, but you still went 13-3 with the formula. Y'all thought y'all were an arm away from being put over the top, and you didn't invest enough in that offensive line. People forget Case Keenum last year made a ton of plays with his feet behind that line last year, and extended plays to get guys open. And
without Dalvin Cook, without
Dalvin Cook, exactly. And Kirk Cousins isn't that guy. He's in the pocket. I'm going to deliver the rock, but he's not going to be that guy that runs around and extends plays because the offensive line isn't going to block very well and then get rid of it. Because I can put up the stats right now. If we did blind QBs, Kirk Cousins' stats are better than Tom Brady's stats right now.
Right.
This season.
Right.
So. Yeah, was there things that Kirk could have done better? Absolutely. Any quarterback could have done. I mean, we can look at any player and say, well, you could have did better here, there, and third. Can we say the pressure's getting to him with him on the sideline jerking and saying run it this way? Sure, absolutely. Vikings and that GM probably should have thought second about letting Case Keenum get out that door and looked at that offensive line first. Say, well, I can keep Case a little bit cheaper. I know I can win with him. I'm getting Cook back. Then let me invest in this line and run the ball even more and see what happens.
Yep, could have made your move for an offensive lineman.
Right.
You maybe could have saved some money with Keenum and then maybe grabbed Norwell. I mean, sure, he's nicked up now. I mean, he's hurt, but I mean, still, we don't know what play, if any play, would have got him hurt. But you would have went and got a Norwell. You probably would have had yourself a little bit better stability on your offensive line.
No doubt. I just, I think I hope it doesn't happen. Because I definitely like the coach there. But this might be one of those situations. It's a slow burn. There's going to be conversations about what happened. Yeah. And we might hear Vikings and Zimmer decide to mutually part ways.
Yeah, I was about to say that might be a what's the name? A Marvin Lewis type deal where we like you, but it's time to go.
It's time to go. Right. On to Baltimore. Browns, Ravens. Whew. And the eyes of Pittsburgh were upon them.
Were you quoting Bible scriptures now?
Hey, just telling you, I saw it. They were looking on the screen. It was they were waiting. Imagine this: Pittsburgh fans cheering for Baker and the Cleveland Browns. Can you imagine that? Pittsburgh fans with the Cleveland Browns holding their fate in their palm of their hands. I never.
Yeah, imagine that.
But yeah, just couldn't quite get it done. Baker was out there balling. Just came up a little short. Baltimore gets the win 26-24. So the Ravens do clinch the division and effectively eliminated the Pittsburgh Steelers from postseason play, 10-6. Cleveland Browns, 7-8-1. Hell of a season for them. Baker does set the rookie quarterback passing touchdown record with 27, throwing 3. And then, of course, Lamar Jackson, that other rookie over there, what's it now, 6-1?
Yeah.
So, woo.
Yeah, boy.
Rolling into these playoffs.
Yeah, boy.
And I mean, and the only one he lost was barely to Kansas City in Kansas City.
And they tied one game with
who?
Didn't it? The Browns?
Oh, yeah, Browns. That's
The Browns are
7-1. They tied with those Steelers. Steelers.
Yeah, that's high.
Yeah, way back when.
Yeah,
Season. Yeah, week 1.
Wait, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about Baker right now. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No problem.
Oh well.
Who
called that? Wait, who called that? Who called that with that Baker Mayfield kid? Who called that? I think I see a deduction coming in my bank account for that.
Steak and lobster dinner. Steak and lobster. I'll take that out back when they do that $14.99 surf and turf.
Man, we're not going cheap. You know that. Stop with the bull.
Over to Nick Foles and those magical Eagles and Redskins.
Right.
I mean, when they were in, obviously Minnesota was hard up. I mean, if Minnesota beat Chicago, obviously they were out, but I don't think anyone thought that was going to happen. Yeah. No more so than the Redskins down to their, 10th string everything.
Yeah.
I mean, Redskins have like 20, I think it's 25 players on IR more than anybody else. And it looked that way. Eagles get the job done 24-0. Pull off the improbable, man. They win 3 straight. They go to Houston and win. They were at home. I'm sorry. They beat Houston at home. They went to the Rams and won. Went to LA.
Yep.
So the 2 big ones had to get over. And then, of course,
sure did.
9-7. Skins finished up at 7-9. So Philly goes to Chicago in the playoffs in the first round.
Nick Foles got jacked in that game too. I mean, he's going to be all right, they say. But
yeah, well, he actually got hit and hurt the previous game against the Texans in the same region. He didn't come out the game. I think there was something a little lingering, and then it got popped again.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But yeah, it looks like he's good. I mean, apparently Winston is available. We'll kind of get into some of that here in a little bit, but
man. And DJ Swearinger out of there. The Redskins criticizing the coaching staff too. That's another thing.
Yeah, I think he kind of criticized the ownership on down. I don't think it was just coaching staff, but
oh well.
Yeah. Arizona picked him up, I think.
I don't know. I don't know.
Sure,
that's the word for sure.
I was pretty sure Arizona picked him up off waivers.
Maybe they did. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they picked him up for. Like to say hello and then do an exit interview. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. But speaking of which, Bengals at Steelers. Steelers struggled. There's a lot of drama here to unpack.
Hey, you know what? You know what happens when when you talk about me playing Madden all the time. You know what happens when I turn on Madden? You select that box on the Xbox to start the game up. Whose face I'm greeted by when I turn that game on?
Boy, AB.
Antonio Brown. The Madden curse lives again.
Man, so again, Bengals were up 10-0. Steelers scratched back and went 16-13. But of course, that guy AB, Antonio Brown, was
MIA.
He didn't play. He was on the sideline of street clothes, and then
he was not in street clothes, sir. I beg to differ. He was wearing an ensemble, topped off by the mink fur coat.
The mink, yes. Well, those are street clothes for him, sir.
Yeah. Don't you dare disrespect AB's ensemble.
Oh yeah, AB brings the heat.
Yeah.
You know that.
We've seen
some of that, but
there's that.
Depending on who you want to believe or not believe, practice Wednesday, Big Ben said something he didn't like it. Thursday, sore knee. Friday, I'm not playing, or walkthrough, I'm not playing, and now it's turned all the way into trade me. Again, as we've had a multitude of segments about Pittsburgh, the most interesting team to cover all year long, no ifs, ands, or buts. And as soon as we thought, well, regular season's over, they missed out. Okay, we're done talking about them. Man, we just get a whole big old heap and scoop right at the beginning of 2019 with them.
Yeah. I mean, whether they get AB or not, whether he stays or not. I mean, I know Ben said he's got another year on his contract. Also of note, he said that as long as 53 is coming back, I'm coming back. You know who's 53, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just wonder what the dynamic is there between Pouncey and Ben. I mean, like, I know centers are close in, like, a lot of ways with their QB. Like, Peyton with Jeff Saturday comes to mind.
Right.
But, it just weird. I mean, you don't want to play, then you want to hang it up, then now you can play till forever once they draft another kid. And then now it's, I've got another year on my contract, and as long as 53 is coming back, I'm coming back. I'm like, when, like you say all the time, he's always digging at somebody, or he's got something to say about somebody else. Yeah. Like, I want to know when Ben's going to make a statement standing on his own 2 feet without throwing somebody else under a bus. Like, I'm lost, dude.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll exist.
I'm lost, to be honest. Man. I'm lost.
I just, again, it's just been that way. But if you go back through the history, and we can go back to somewhat, I guess, maybe some of Plaxico, but I mean, really Santonio Holmes and what happened there before he got out, the Mike Wallaces of the world and what happened there before they got out. And now here we are. I mean, it's just something that's continuously kind of happened there. And yeah.
Plaxico Burris, man, damn.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of down the line with him.
I actually saw a tweet tonight about something relating to that story. And then them talking about how they did, other receivers in the past, and San Antonio and Plaxico came up. And then somebody like tweeted in response to that was like, they can go on, like Pittsburgh wide receivers go on and they're irrelevant. And I'm like, Plaxico got that ring though.
Yeah.
He didn't get it there. Got that ring though.
Right.
But I mean, hey,
the catch in the end zone to seal it.
Yeah. I mean,
San Antonio had some pretty good years with the Jets being the AFC Championship game as well too.
Hey, dropped it. Old Eli dropped it in like it was a loaf of bread in a basket, bro.
Yeah. So someone's empowered Ben. I mean, I get it. You're the quarterback.
Yeah.
You're the leader.
I was going to say that. I was going to say that about Ben.
Yeah, but no one's checked him, or no one said, "Hey, that's not the time to say that."
And I don't even think like Tomlin normally wouldn't say anything, but I'm gonna bet you this much. This is probably what happened, right? I'm gonna bet you Ben probably said something smart about the way Antonio was running routes, or how whatever conversation they have or chatter that they have to make adjustments on a route when they run against a certain look. And AB didn't do that. And Ben probably said something smart. And when he came back and AB said what he said and then said, "I'm gone." And then Ben probably had something smart to say back to him. And then AB was like, whatever, and kept on going, and then ran on up to the front office so that he didn't catch no heat in case homeboy really did say he wanted to leave. And that's what you get. They sat him down on Friday, sat him down on whatever day that they played, and that was that. Like, Roethlisberger's got that I'm a run, tell that type of attitude about him. He got that look about him, bro.
Yeah,
crazy.
I don't know. It's
crazy.
Like I said, it'll be intriguing to see like if Le'Veon and Brown end up on the same team.
And hey, Cam Jordan, I agree with you.
Yeah, not top 5.
Not top 5. Not when you act like that, bro.
Nah. Not with the things he says and does. I can't do it. But boy, they both them cats would end up in San Francisco. Whew. I don't want them problems.
Hey,
I don't want the problems in the
old day. Hey, get it right over there in Dallas. This would be like the old days, bro.
Yeah, I don't want none of them problems there. Yeah. But neither here nor there with the I love hip hop Pittsburgh edition.
Loving hip hop.
Yeah. Colts Titans had a play in, and like out of nowhere, and there's a little discrepancy here because out of nowhere on game day, it kind of popped up Mariota wasn't going to play.
Mm-hmm.
There's some things out there, players saying they had no clue, until like an hour or two before, kickoff that he wasn't playing. Word is Stinger didn't want to have another injury or worsen it. So they lined up and played him 33-17. Colts get the win. They get to 10-6, obviously get to the playoffs. Titans missed the playoffs after making it last year and fought at 9-7. Obviously the big deal here, outside of, on the Colts side, I mean, now it's 9 out of the last 10 they've won, 8 out of the last 9 they've won. They're humming. Marlon Mack's running the ball. Defensively, their rookie linebacker led the league in tackles.
That's
Darius Leonard, which is amazing statistic for the second round pick for that kid.
Yep.
And then, of course, the big news on the side for Tennessee. What are we doing at running back, man? I mean, not running back, but quarterback.
Yeah.
We got to figure that out over there.
Hey, look. I think with the sit down, I think that kind of seals he's the guy, but he needs to get right.
Right.
And I don't think he has been since he's been hurt the first time in that place. I don't think he really has been. And some guys just need that. They need that sit down. You need to sit down for a few weeks and get yourself correct. Maybe don't take no contact. Let your motor sensory neurons and all that stuff, all them receptors reset so you can start taking contact again, because mentally it'll take a toll on you. Now, we're going to watch every team's draft moves. But these two definitely we're going to watch for sure. And their roster moves, free agency moves and things of that nature. And we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on the Derrick Henry situation. We'll definitely be looking to see if they draft another QB in Tennessee. And also for the Colts, real curious to see what they put around Andrew Luck and how they help shore up that defense.
I mean, it's scary. I mean, if you go back in talking about GMs, like this GM in particular in Indianapolis, you look at the last two drafts he's had, okay, and you look at the salary cap that they have available. If they nail this draft and depending on the pieces they add in this offseason,
they grab
this is like a hey, look, this is an opportunity for them to have this window open up for a good 4 to 6 years.
4 to 6 run. Yep.
Good 4 to 6 year run here.
Yep.
This will be a very intriguing offseason for them.
Yep.
That's definitely one I'll be keeping.
They can land Le'Veon Bell. And
Hell,
they definitely have the money to afford AB, or if Odell comes loose.
Yeah, I see for me, I think with Mac and the drafting of Hines, I think running back wise, they're fine. If they go get an AB though.
Yeah. I think Marlon Mack's fine, but
I'm a Marlon Mack fan. I mean, personally, I think he's good.
Here's the thing, though.
He's not Bell. I understand that too. Because here's what you don't know about Marlon Mack. He just started. You don't really know that much. You know what you drafted, kinda. Now, what moves they make on the offensive line to help him excel? Maybe that makes a different case. Maybe he's a little bit more explosive, which he is. I mean, there's no question about that. But are we calling him Saquon? No. But if you go get Le'Veon Bell, there's no question. And that ain't me stumping for my guy. That's just when you see Saquon go. I mean, he gone. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man. I mean, I hope they make the right moves. As a football fan, you hope bring that franchise back to relevance again. You know what I mean? Andrew's getting on, he's getting on his grizzy. He's kind of back to where he needs to be. Let's see how they finish out these playoffs. And I think looking at those guys and the way they talk, post-game interviews and things like that, those guys are we building something here. Right.
It's in their eyes, man. You could tell.
No doubt. And I mean, coaching staff, some first-timers there for head coach and DC and stuff, and just hitting up the right, you got a young team that's coachable, and they're receptive to what the message is, and you can see it. So, only the second NFL team ever to start out 1-5 and make the playoffs.
Yes, saw that.
I mean, that's mean stat right there.
Mean.
But and they're buying in. Like I said, this offseason for them is going to be very intriguing and setting them up for the next. Like I said, this could be a 4-6 window for the Colts, no doubt.
Yeah, no question. I definitely see. Won't be the Patriots anymore if they make the right moves.
No doubt. Yeah. Speaking of which, that does get us into these playoffs, though.
Yes, sir. That's what we're trying to get to.
Does get us to these playoffs. Playoffs. Oh man, the funniest thing I saw is the shot. Because they had the shot of the the Pittsburgh players on the field looking at the jumbotron Pittsburgh
on one knee and hand on the helmet.
And somebody sat there and photoshopped in.
Oh yeah, it was Mora. Yeah.
Playoffs.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, y'all are out of pocket.
Yeah, bro.
Y'all are out of pocket.
Oh man, got him.
And I saw it. I was like, oh my goodness. Anyways, though, speaking of which, let's get to some of these. Let's get to the Saturday matchups.
Yeah,
it's actually a little Texas two-step on Saturday. At Texans, divisional rivalry. Obviously, they've split it, and each team's won on each team's turf.
Mm-hmm.
Colts obviously hot. Texans, they get the win there at the end. I'm intrigued, man. The only thing about the Texans is this:
Mm-hmm.
they probably have the worst offensive line in the playoffs.
Say that again.
Worst offensive line heading into the playoffs.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, when you have a Deshaun Watson, you can kind of live with some of those things.
Mm-hmm.
But these teams know each other very well. Man, I don't know. I mean, this is going to be such an intriguing matchup. T.Y. Hilton has been a Texans killer.
Yeah.
Now, he's been beat up a little bit all year, and he did get nicked up again in this game. So I'm kind of with that. I'm like, if T.Y.'s a go, I think I'll lean towards the Colts.
Yeah.
If T.Y.'s not really a go, I think I'll lean towards the Texans.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, it's interesting stuff here. I think I think this game is going to be like these teams right here. It's going to be a tough matchup, man. I mean, they're both trying to establish their dominance in this conference. I mean, this division. So, I mean, like you kind of seeing like a little bit of the future here on display in this game, quarterback wise,
Right.
offensive wise, defensive wise. Watt won't be there forever, but you got guys like Clowney there. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be some stuff going on, you know what I mean, in this game.
And speaking of Watt,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, comeback player of the year to me is definitely Andrew Luck.
Right.
However, I mean, Watt's 16 sacks this year after all those injuries and coming back. That's crazy. That dude is a monster, though.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think I've said it before on here, and I've said it to you. Guys know J.J. Watt. They could see him. They know he's coming. I mean, but Clowney, you can't game plan for him. He's an automatic double team. So's Watt, but Clowney's an automatic double team, and you miss the wrong step. You miss the wrong plant, and Clowney's loose. There goes your quarterback.
The goose is on the loose.
Oh man, there goes your quarterback. And man, let me tell you, like nobody wants their rookie quarterback or second-year quarterback or their quarterback just coming off of a lengthy injury stretch to have Clowney repeat what he did in the game against Michigan before he got drafted. You don't want that.
Don't want them problems.
And he's gotten bigger since then. So, yeah.
Should definitely be a good one. And then the late game on Saturday, Seahawks go to Dallas.
Whew.
Another intriguing one. Obviously, these teams played a little earlier in the season. Of course, that was eons ago. What was that, week 3?
Mm-hmm. Side note, it's nice to look at the playoff matchups and see like serious winning records. Like these teams, like I mean, the worst record on here is Phillies with 9-7.
Yeah,
but everybody's double digits or better. You know what I mean? Like
they've won 3 straight.
Yeah,
getting out the right time.
Beat the damn Rams, bro. Like,
put it on them. Yeah, and went to and beat Houston. Yeah, 13-3 and 10-6. Had to make it do what it do. But Seahawks, Cowboys, kind of mirror images of each other. Mm-hmm. Want to play good defense, want to run the ball, and have timely throws. Should be very intriguing. Obviously, the first time around, Cowboys did not have Amari Cooper. Their blocking scheme was a little different. They've since switched their offensive line coach. And then, of course, on the other side for the Seahawks, Chris Carson was still kind of balancing some injuries. Now he's fully healthy and back. And now they did lose Earl Thomas, though. Who had a really big game against the Cowboys, obviously.
Yeah, that's a big one.
That's definitely a big one for them. But their front seven's definitely tightened up. KJ Wright's back now, who didn't play for the Seahawks the first round. I mean, these teams are so much different from whenever they played, 8-9 weeks ago. So it's going to be, I'll say 8-9 weeks. Shoot, it's basically 14 weeks ago. Excuse me. Jeez. I think it just goes, it's who's going to run the ball better. I think that's just what it boils down to. Whoever's able to run the ball better is going to win this game.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely see that. Amari or no Amari, I mean, they got some pretty decent corners over there. And I mean, that front seven for Seattle is, I mean, maybe not the whole front seven, but that front seven for Seattle is not to be played with.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I will
Frank Clark is a beast.
I will extend myself and pray for Dak. Because I know you got some weaknesses on the O-line right now with a couple of injuries and stuff.
No doubt.
I pray that Bobby Wagner doesn't come to visit him and hug him. Because, yeah.
He's a hugger.
Oh, well, man, that's bad for business.
Well, and of course, the other thing, too, here that's going to be a downtrodden for the Cowboys fans out there. Mm-hmm. If you go and look at their record, Dallas versus mobile quarterbacks this year, not good. Not good at all.
You're also playing a more seasoned team. Their coach has been installed for quite a while. He knows how to communicate with those players. Not that Garrett doesn't for the Cowboys, but you've had a couple hiccups and speed bumps with the Cowboys over the last few seasons with the the Romo moving on and the changes with coaching staff and the Zeke and his issues, not being available for some games and the Dak's development, and part of that also stunts Dak's development. I mean, it's definitely, I mean, I guess you could say, mirror images, but I mean, no disrespect to the Cowboys or any other team that they'd be lining up against right now. I mean, Seattle's just a better version of who they're going to face right now. And you're going to have to play, you're going to have to be willing to give it 60 minutes to have a chance to beat Seattle. You're going to have to give it 60 minutes. Period.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. As far as mirror images, they do the same things in order. Their game plan is pretty similar.
Yeah. Them dudes don't play over there.
Yeah, I mean, Frank Clark obviously is another guy on that front line for Seattle that's definitely a beast.
It's just, in a way, maybe you're happy that Michael Bennett moved on to Philly and you might not get to face him. So,
man, that's another piece, But again, against mobile quarterbacks, Dallas is kind of over this year, so we'll see if that changes.
Yeah.
On to the Sunday games.
Yeah.
Chargers go to Baltimore, which, unfortunately for Baltimore, I think this is a bad look for them, just because they just played them a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And part of the reason that Baltimore's on this run is these teams don't see this kind of run game and this kind of scheme, in the NFL.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not saying that, when people line up, it surprises them or catches them off guard, but it's just when you haven't seen it, it's hard to prepare for it.
Yeah.
You've just seen it. I expect the Chargers to be a little bit better prepared for it this round. And I'm gonna lean, now that we're into the playoffs, I'm gonna lean on Felipe a little bit more. Gordon's going to be there running the rock as well. I think the Chargers are going to get it done in Baltimore.
I'm not saying they don't get it done. I'm saying it's not going to be an easy trip. And, we've talked about Baltimore's resurging health. People are coming back to the roster now. They're getting healthier. Some of those Bama boys are actually playing. They're getting burns. They're playing. They're making plays. You can see how tough they are. And, and of course, this, the more you can run that ball and keep the defense on the side, the more explosive plays they can make in the backfield for the opposing team. So, them guys is ready, man. They're alert. You know what I mean? And this is cakewalk time for them. I don't think that, Felipe's a slouch by any means. I just think, might be surprised on the score. Might be surprised.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, it's a great story. I've enjoyed the Ravens. I've enjoyed the Ravens' run here. Mm-hmm. And it's not that I don't think the Ravens can win. I just think it's money time, and the Chargers just saw them. If the Chargers hadn't seen them before already, or hadn't recently seen them, I'd probably lean towards the Ravens. But with them just now seeing them 2 weeks ago, I think the Chargers are going to get the job done. But it's definitely must see TV. I'm intrigued, no doubt. But I think
all of this, man, is must see TV. I mean, forget the fact that it's playoffs. I mean, you got Mahomes and Brady in the waiting. You got the OG, and you got the young Thundercat. You got and in New Orleans and LA the same thing. You got the OG and the Thundercat. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, man.
Well, hold on, let's get to this Sunday night. Sunday game.
Yeah.
Eagles, Bears. Hey man, let me tell you what, and I posted this. Obviously, I pull from my squad. That's what it is. But
Ain't nobody
looking at it,
faulting you for that.
I got Kansas City and the Bears in the Super Bowl. That's who I got.
Mm.
That's who I got. I got Kansas City and the Bears.
Yeah.
That's who I got. However, this matchup has me very nervous. Very, very nervous.
Mm-hmm. Old photo, doles.
Yeah, I'm like, the Eagles, obviously the returning champs, the reigning champs,
Mm-hmm.
kind of feeling themselves now. Here's Foles again. We've won 3 straight. Here we go again.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know what this Bears defense is. We know that. However,
it's probably the only defense that probably 50% of the fans could probably name most of the players on the defense, the starting D.
And man, Nagy's been great.
Mm-hmm.
And Mitchell's been really great. And we've talked about that over the year and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But now we get to find out, because it is part of the Andy Reid tree, we're going to find out a little bit about Nagy this round right here, because he's going to get another guy who's part of the Andy Reid tree. Mm-hmm. And that's the part that worries me some. It's not so much the who's on each side of this ball here and what's per se maybe going on. It's, Peterson being from that tree and Nagy being from that tree, and how does that going to translate to the inner workings of this game a little bit?
I already see Nagy busting out the Philly special in the first 15 plays, scripted.
Ooh.
Already see it.
Ooh.
Yeah, you think you're cute over there, buddy?
Huh?
I was the better OC. What are you talking about? Telling you, it's coming.
But you get too cute, though.
Hey, I know.
You get too cute, and all of a sudden, whoop, it's going the other way.
Yeah, I know.
This might be my most intriguing matchup of the weekend, to be honest with you.
Hey, man.
It might be.
Let me tell you something about this game here. Protect your quarterback and play the sticks. Maybe just a little bit in front of them. Don't let no explosive plays happen. The first one, you can forget it. This thing's going to open up like a damn waterfall. It's going to be like somebody shot a hole in the barrel. Done.
Mm-hmm.
Going to start leaking. I'm telling you, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff's going to be amazing with this game. I'm not missing this game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, playoffs ain't going to miss any game, period. But I'm with you. Yeah, this one here.
I'm not missing
locked
this
in.
One.
Yeah, definitely locked in. And then, of course, as we're talking about with the Chiefs and Patriots on deck, boy, I bet the Patriots do not want to have to see the Ravens. Bet money on that.
Hey, you remember that time? You remember? I'm not trying to make you laugh, man, but I'm funny right now. Remember that time when Tommy Brady played the Steelers?
Yeah.
He started seeing ghosts and he fainted.
Man.
He fainted while he was throwing.
Yeah.
Bro. Them Baltimore Ravens, old T Sizzle, you already know he don't like Tom Brady. Not by any stretch. And he done said it out loud on camera whenever available. Is this mic on? Hold on. Is this on?
Yeah.
Hold on. Who is Tom Brady? He ain't nobody. I can't stand him, man. I hate him. Hates him. You hear me? Hates him. He ain't diplomatic like Ray Lewis, bro. I'm telling you. T Sizzle hates that guy. Let me tell you straight up. I already hear the chatter. I know they play one game at a time, but I already hear the chatter. My man, anything y'all can do to get me on the field and line up against Tommy Brady would be greatly appreciated. So,
man, for real.
Yeah, definitely going to be tough. And Kansas City, man, like, I don't know. I just think that kid's got too much for anybody. The only team that looks like they're a threat to me again is Baltimore, because we know they almost beat them.
Right. Yeah. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah. I mean, that was we like to say shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't worry about all that shoulda, coulda, woulda. You should have done it. Hey, look, we both know they probably should have won that game. So.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, and then
What you
you
getting
know,
alerts over there,
if
bro? You
if
talking about that
yeah,
Texas, that
man,
Georgia
something I
game?
don't know. Man, I'll tell you what, man, it sounded like something blew up outside my door. I don't know what it
What?
was. Like my wife texts me, goes, "Did you hear that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know what it is, but
Oh my God,
anywho, the
Rocky
Eagles
might be
though, if
filming a movie out there in your neighborhood. Old Dwayne Johnson.
ain't no telling,
Hey
man,
man,
I'm telling you though, if the Eagles get by there and go to New Orleans, imagine that setup,
my lord,
Lord."
my lord.
Man, I'm saying, man, I've been just going through and looking because the lowest seed, high seed, to the next
Yep,
round, and some of these matchups for next round.
yep,
Oh,
yep.
I mean, imagine the Cowboys go back and get to see the Saints for this. We get a second round of that.
Yeah, I don't think it
You
goes
know,
down the same way though.
maybe not,
I don't think
but
it goes down
still,
the
I
same
mean,
way. I see New Orleans winning that because y'all got to go see them, right?
yeah,
I
we got
see New
yeah,
Orleans winning
yeah.
that, but I think the score is a lot different than what it was the last time. Like this will be opened up a little bit more.
All right,
You know what I
and
mean?
then what if we get the Chargers Chiefs round 3? Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, this first week, and here's the other thing about it, right? Like these first set of games that we talked about, wild card. Forget the guys that got the buys for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's wide open. Like typically we can kind of look and say, okay, well, this team or
Yeah,
that team.
yeah, it's definitely wide open.
Man, I don't.
Like you said, no one's scared of New England. You know what
Yeah,
I
no
mean?
one. Yeah,
New Orleans has laid a few eggs in the
right.
last 5 or 6
The
weeks.
dome is
And
scary, but it's
yeah,
like they're not unbeatable. I mean, the Rams are getting kind of back on
yeah,
track, but they haven't showed it in the playoffs.
right. The Rams
The
getting
Chiefs got
beat by Chicago, getting beat by Philly. I mean,
right,
you know,
man. It's like.
Dallas surging and winning what their last 9 or whatever,
Yeah, let's say 8 or 9.
8 or 9
Yeah,
or whatever. Like,
Seahawks. And,
yeah,
I mean,
I mean,
the Colts and what they're doing because they just shut out the Cowboys. I
Seahawks
mean,
discovering their running game. I mean, the Ravens
right,
running all over people. Like they're probably changing out cleats at halftime as much running as they're doing right
man.
now. Like, and Felipe, the return, the resurgence of
Yeah,
Philip Rivers, like, and the return of Luck. I mean, like, Deshaun coming back from the injury from last year. I mean, like, there's so
yeah.
much, man.
There's
There's
so
so
much
much.
going on,
And
man.
I'm not trying to get wrapped up in storylines because I'm not that guy, but like there's a lot of stuff here. I mean,
Mhm.
phrase of the year is there's a lot to unpack. So there's a lot, and there's gonna be a lot when these results come in. So yeah,
Yeah, I expect some really entertaining games this weekend. No
Oh yeah,
ifs, ands, or
no
buts, and I
question.
think it's going to be that way
Yeah,
all the way throughout.
yeah,
Like I said, you can kind of flip a coin on a lot of these teams, and the margin for error
yeah,
with these teams it's very, very slim.
yeah,
Very, very slim. I'm super excited, man.
yeah,
I mean, one of the things is if you're a fan of these teams, you got a shot, man. Every single fan of
yep,
every single team at this thing's got a shot here. So,
yep,
but unfortunately, there are some teams that don't have a shot.
yeah.
And not only do they not have a shot, they're looking for the guy that's going to get them to a shot per se.
Oof.
We got some coaching changes on deck.
Black Monday.
Heavy.
Mm-hmm.
We talked before, typically we set our over underline at 7. This year it's an over.
Mm.
We got 8 openings and possibly maybe another one. We'll have to wait and see. But for sure 8 right now. As we run those down, which one to you? Let's say Cleveland. I think we all agree that Cleveland, right, is the best looking situation.
Mm.
Right. So we got Cleveland. All right. We got Green Bay. We got Tampa Bay. We got Miami. We have Arizona.
Yep.
We have the Jets. And was that all 8? Or am I missing one? I think that's all 8, right?
Is it? You got Arizona
and Bucks.
Yeah, Bucks.
That's it. So I think we both agree Cleveland's the best looking option.
Mm-hmm.
If you take them out, who you got next? Who you think? Green Bay, Bengals, Miami. Who you like?
Well, before we get into that, real quick, I just want to make mention, and I mean maybe not make mention, but reiterate what you've kind of said, and I've said before. I mean, like, I think we started out the season with the top down type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Never have I seen before in sports media today, and maybe a little last night, never have I seen the amount of voices saying from NFL team front offices, are setting coaches up to fail, setting organizations up to fail. And these are words from former players, former GMs. There's a lot of guys out here, analysts, that, do whatever, whether they, they used to be a reporter. Now they're analysts for, sports on whatever network they're on. Like, a lot of guys are saying that type of stuff. And hey, we know the league is trendy. Okay. It's one of those things, man, where you're going to have to stop this. All right. You suck. We went 6-10, 5-11. You're out of here. 1 and done. 2 and done. Hey, man, there's a lot of teams out here that went to a Super Bowl and you ain't heard from them since. I mean, when's the last time Bree's been to a bowl? When's the last time, I mean, it wasn't too long ago, but when's the last time Seattle went to a bowl and it was rumbling and stumbling and dominating people? It's been a while. You know what I mean? Even the Patriots, right? Like, sure, they've been twice in the last couple, however many years, but like, they still weren't dominating like how they were earlier in the 2000s and things like that. So like, when you take a look at somebody like Belichick, sure, anybody would love to have him as a coach, but he's not winning the Super Bowl every year. So why is everybody else expected to? Certainly there's moves being made and things that are being done, or, how they affect the roster and player development that, need to be looked at and constantly monitored. And then if you need to make a move or move on from people, sure, go ahead and do that. But, and there's also something to be said about people hanging on too long, a la Cincinnati. We really gotta shut that down, man. Like, 'cause this is, as funny as it may be, 8 coaches gone. That's 25% of the league turnover today in the last 24 hours. 25%. I mean, we changing out 8 coaches like pajamas. Gotta stop, man. You got to let guys, just like you let QBs develop, you got to let coaches, man, they ain't never had a shot. You got to let them develop, man. Just saying.
Yeah. And I mean, and like some of the crazy thing to me with these coaches that got let go is the coaches that got rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Like,
and the situations they're in, like the John Elway situation, like, bro, who are you to decide whether or not you should keep the coach that you got? Who are you? I mean, you can't even draft a proper QB. How you setting that dude up for success? Last success you had was Peyton Manning. Pepe? Yep. That was the last time you had a QB that was worth anything. And he had a busted arm.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's whether the one and done is definitely dumb. It is like the most idiotic thing to me, period. And I don't want to cut you off. I'm just kind of like chiming in, like completing a sentence. Like, and we're not going to talk about the race or color or Rooney Rule type things. We're not going to talk about any of those. Although they are apparent, we're not going to discuss any of those. There's something to be said, though, about 8 coaches being gone. Like, there's maybe 2, possibly 3 where I'm like, okay, maybe I could see your point. Yeah, I mean, I think last year we have 6. I think it's right on 6.
Maybe, yeah.
But it's just, I mean, even then, I mean, it's a lot considering. And obviously we didn't have the podcast up last year, right. But I remember the conversations that we had last year was, who are you hiring? When it was like 6 or 7 last year, and we were like, there's not enough candidates to go around. And whenever you don't have enough candidates to go around, then you end up with a Wilkes. The Wilkes situation is completely asinine to me because, and we've had conversations about Arizona before, but you brought a guy in, y'all had a conversation, y'all had a vision, y'all decided on a quarterback, right? And 1 year later, okay, never mind. Boom. In between
drinks and campaigning for judges, yeah, you had a conversation.
And then, of course, here's the next thing they did was, well, let's offer Mike McCarthy full control. That way, we really ain't got to do nothing and just step all the way out and let him just run the whole thing.
And what's worse, right? What's worse? Firing a coach who really was at a disadvantage. I mean, you think that O-line was any kind of supreme disadvantage? And look. that O-line might be worse than the Giants O-line.
It probably is.
Right? Hey, look, we gonna go in that mode now, B.
Okay.
We just talking me and you now, right?
Okay.
Ain't nobody listening. We ain't got no mic on.
All right.
What's going on when you just draft a QB? Your O-line is dog doo-doo. You traded away Calais Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You hanging on to Larry Fitzgerald for what? You're hanging on to Pat Pete for what? Like, Pat Pete's probably one of the first people I'm trying to move to get better.
Well,
you traded away to the Honey Badger.
Well, actually, I guess they released him. Hell, they didn't even trade him away.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
they
gone. Like you don't.
Yeah.
They had to pay him some group, some guap, but
some guap to go away, right?
But
now, Larry Fitzgerald, for what it's worth, he doesn't want to. He's multitude of times saying he doesn't want to leave. He's either there or he's retired. Fair enough.
Yeah,
Patrick P wants to go.
Right.
So trade him. You
would have got a first rounder for him. The worst you would have got was a second rounder.
But here's the thing overall, all that. Here's how Wilkes should have known he was in trouble from the get before any of that stuff happened.
What?
You went and signed Sam Bradford for $20 million.
For sure.
What are we doing?
Tell him.
What are we doing?
Tell
we went and signed
him,
Sam Bradford for $20 million.
Tell him.
You couldn't win, got no offensive lineman with that $20 million?
Tell him, B.
You know what I'm saying? And then you backdoor and then go draft a quarterback anyways. So you spend 20, then you spend your highest pick, and you ain't do nothing for the line. And then wonder why David Johnson, who's been beat up the past 2 years, can't get off.
Dog.
Because you can't block for him.
Dog, there's guys. Colton Miller got drafted from UCLA, right? Still a work in progress. There's guys on the street on that same offensive line that didn't get drafted that was better than what they got in Arizona.
Right.
Come on, man.
I mean, like I said, the writing should have been on the wall for Wilkes. I mean, you're out here going to give him $20 million to Sam Bradford. It's almost like maybe the GM was finally sober for the first time in maybe a couple of years, and like, oh, Sam Bradford, sure, bring him on, and then went right back to a bender. I don't know.
Yeah,
I said it before, I said it again. I mean, that's just money. You're saving money supposedly by getting rid of Tyrann Mathieu. Fine, okay, I'll buy that to a certain extent. Sure, let's roll with that.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't do nothing else to improve anywhere else. Because I get it. You drafted Budda Baker. All right. Okay. The passing of the guard. You telling me you couldn't get a 4th or 5th round pick for the Honey Badger? Okay. You're saying no because of what the contract was. All right. Now you got people lined up for Peterson. Y'all ain't going anywhere.
Mm.
And you just say, nah, let's just keep Peterson. It's fine.
And I could make a case. I could make a case for Budda Baker not even being drafted. You could have went and got your O lineman because, hey, I watched a kid who decided to stay at Oregon, put Budda Baker in the wash and made him look dumb on a few throws when he was still at Washington. So let's not get too ahead of ourselves with the Budda Baker pick. We probably should have drafted O-line.
Hey, yeah, I'm just saying that's what they did. And that's
no, I'm not talking about you. I'm saying them. Like when they was making them decisions. Oh yeah.
I mean, as far as these positions that are open, this might be the worst place to go. I'll be honest.
I don't know. I think it's maybe between the Bucks, and possibly
Cincinnati's. I mean, Cincinnati.
Denver.
Well, Denver's tough
because you don't know what's going on with that family.
Yeah, and
everybody want their cut of the $2 billion. Everybody want their cut
until that ownership situation gets resolved and something gets said to John Elway.
Yep.
I think if Kubiak comes in, that changes things some because he's been there. I think he has a little bit more pull. Some things can happen.
But
outside of Kubiak, good luck.
Yeah, but let's go back to the Chris Harris statement today on Twitter.
Yeah, right.
Who's really running that offense?
Tidal waves.
Right.
Tidal waves. Time to switch it up. Sweeping changes.
And you know what? Hey, look. I've been in and out of the corporate world over the last many years. You know this.
Right.
Whether it's working for, judicial systems or working for, universities or whatever the case may be. You know, I've always been at that mid-level or upper-level management for some of these companies. You know, when companies trying to make changes for people up top, one of the things that they like to do is they go send in a team that will go ask about every department. And I'm wondering if maybe what they did here with this organization was try to assess what they thought of coaching and management and ask the players. And that's when you got a piece of that statement or whatever from Chris Harris, where he kind of said, hey, look, you know, I know we've been asked about it. Maybe you didn't get that part, but we've been asked about it from the outside, from ownership, and they wanted to know what kind of changes we wanted to have made. And we told them, or I told them. And I think that's what kind of happened there. And that's where you got that chunk of statement today on Twitter. That ain't nothing like that. Doesn't sound like somebody that's not in the know of the operations of what's going on, or right. Somebody that was an owner. That sounded like a player that got asked by ownership and he let them know. So
no doubt. Yeah. It's definitely intriguing, but you know, sweeping changes for sure in some of these organizations that should happen. But as we talked about before, man, it's like, yeah, you got rid of the coach, but the GM's still there.
And you know what? This is one of those franchises, right? Like when we talk about Denver, right? Let's just for say Denver.
Right.
As we touch this issue just a little bit, like, hey man, Elway, and he's your guy.
Yeah, he's my guy.
John Elway's probably your favorite QB of all time, right?
Yeah,
hey,
definitely.
Bro, your reputation as a quarterback on the field, stellar, impeccable. Okay? You probably could have won a couple more Super Bowls, but hey, things happen. Everybody can't win it every year. That's why we got 32 teams. That's why they got parity in this league. Okay? Mm-hmm. But John Elway, you are doing your reputation a disservice right now with the moves you're making as an operator of a football franchise.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, he came in and it started really well for him. Again, as we've noted, I mean, anyone knows to go sign Peyton Manning. That's not rocket science there.
Hey, what was my joke? Now, I told you back when they let old Pey go. I said, hey, if there's a way we can get Eli and maybe send him to the Jets, so we could take 3-way trade. Colts, send Eli to the Jets, and let me get Pey in New York.
No doubt.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's pretty much, you know, a no-brainer. And I mean, it gets you, you know, 2 trips to the Super Bowl in a ring, and that boosts you. But I mean, and it's not just, I mean, for instance, let's break down some of these moves with the quarterbacks that he's gotten, okay? Yeah. Like, you went and got Brock Osweiler. Hey, we know because the information society that we live in now, that was like your son's like roommate in college. Okay, we know those things.
There's something I didn't know. How about that?
Okay, you know, so now you brought him on, and we saw what happened there. Then, you know, then there's the Paxton Lynch, and we kind of see what happened there, and the Trevor Siemian, you know, and okay, the Chad Kelly thing. Okay, yeah, maybe somewhat of a bone to your guy Jim from back in the day.
Yep,
he's had issues. He's had issues, and what's crazy is he was. Unfortunately, you didn't do enough because he probably would have got a chance this year. Right. But as he did in high school, kicked off a team, college kicked off a team. Chad Kelly has to be the only player I know in life, quarterback-wise, at least, that's got kicked off a high school, college, and NFL team. That's crazy. That's mind-boggling, you know.
And I know that, but when you say it, it even sounds worse.
Right. And then, of course, your idea this offseason to fix the quarterback position is go sign Case Keenum. I mean, no matter what kind of asset he has used or thrown and tried to do, you know, and hell, I guess the one smart thing he did is he didn't pay Brock Osweiler a whole lot of money, and they got him back cheaper, so that happened.
Yeah, got rid of him and got him back.
I mean, then of course he almost had Cap, and he would have had a chance to be a starter, but that fell apart as well. It's just how he's handled all those things, and it's just
don't talk about Cap, bro. No.
Well, I'm just saying they were trying to trade for him. That's not, I'm not talking about
it's all love, bro. I just say don't talk about it.
But it's just like He's just not be able to figure. If he was able to figure that out, maybe some of these coaches he's had would figure some things out as well too.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's definitely a conundrum. Yeah, and I know a lot of Bronco faithful out there are at their wits' end with Elway for sure.
Yeah. I mean, hey man. I mean, this is the business, man. People want to see a winning product. I mean, and there's a lot more names associated with the Denver, potential opening than there is Arizona. Maybe a little bit of credence to what you're saying is maybe this is one of the worst jobs.
Right.
I mean, going back to Arizona real quick, Mike McCarthy, like you said, Freddie Kitchens used to be a Cardinals assistant. I mean, he's over there, in Cleveland. But there's people lobbying for him to be the head coach over there. So I mean, we'll see what happens with that. Also,
I'll tell you what, that screams like Derek Cutter 2.0. Don't do that,
Derek Cutter. Yeah, no doubt.
Don't do that, Cleveland.
Yeah. Also, Todd Bowles was one we heard before he got fired.
Right.
Was them bringing him to Arizona. I mean, we also heard about him going to Green Bay, but definitely people talking about bringing him back. A couple other names. Jed
How
Fish.
How about Kingsbury? Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I saw that. I posted it. I think, in the huddle group.
He's going to interview for 2 jobs.
Yeah. And then Jed Fish and then Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur is currently the Titans OC.
Yeah, I like Matt LaFleur.
Yeah. He's creative.
And I like Matt LaFleur.
And his mind, I think, would work with any type of QB you give him. So I think he's just fine. But Bruce Arians' name is on the list again.
Yeah, it popped out there about Tampa a little bit.
No, I mean for Arizona.
Oh, really? Now, see, I didn't see that. I know I saw the thing saying that he would be intrigued with the offer from Tampa, but I did not hear about the Arizona thing. Don't do it. Don't do it, Bruce. Always forward. Don't go backwards, brother.
Yeah.
That's not going to be good for your health. Don't do it.
Yeah. In Denver's situation, there's Mike McCarthy, Mike Munchak, Gus Bradley, Chargers DC, Pagano. I heard Pagano and Fraser were planning on interviewing for that job earlier today. Brian Flores, the current Patriots DC. Don't do it.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Dave Tube and or Taub. And honestly, a name I'm not hearing very much in some situations, but popped up on this list. Eric Sleeping with Bieniemy.
Yeah, he's going to pick up some heat as soon as
I don't think he goes. I hope he doesn't go anywhere just yet. I think he needs to hang out for
I'd like to see him get another year there. I'll tell you someone else I think that's going to pop up though is the Bears, DC.
Yeah.
Flagiano,
Fangio.
My man.
He's Italian, Vic Fangio.
Yeah, Fangio. Yeah. I think for sure. I think he's going to get some looks. I think another guy that hasn't really been floated out there yet for the Saints, Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator for the Saints, who's done an amazing job this year. I think he's going to get some looks. I know Chris Richard's got from Dallas, the Jets. Jets have hit him up. And there was somebody else. I don't remember if it was.
I can't remember. I think
I want to say it was the Bengals, but I'm not sure. I don't want to be. I don't know. I know the Jets for sure, and somebody else hitting. Again, of course, the other thing that popped out there. Teams possibly trading for Harbaugh to Baltimore.
Dude.
That was kind of crazy. That was kind of like a little left field. It was like, really?
And I'm looking at that and I'm like, maybe people got their wires crossed and they're talking about John in Michigan and trying to get him out of Michigan. Maybe the story got, somebody whispered to somebody and they heard the wrong thing and the story got loose, but I don't know. I mean, that almost sounds like maybe someone got broached at a meeting from Ravens brass, the owner over there, Bisciotti, and maybe a couple other people sat down and, man, you should probably trade that coach if you weren't thinking about extending him. And he said, and then you get that story. That's what that sounds like to me.
Right. I know there was the one story floating that one team would make a run at the Michigan Harbaugh.
Yeah.
But, a lot of that stuff, is going to float around this time of the year.
I don't know, man. Look, hey,
we're going to hear a lot of that.
We're not going to dig into college football too much.
Oh no.
But I will tell you this: it's a good way for Harbaugh to get out of Michigan, man.
Yeah,
whatever's going on over there, it ain't.
It's not curling up.
Yeah, it's
and it's been the same since he's been there. Just that offense hasn't turned over.
I mean that, and also, you know, when he came in, obviously he didn't have his guys first couple years, and then, you know, hasn't really had a steady QB the last. I mean, it, you know, but you know, that's nobody's going to take excuses from you, especially when they're calling you, you know, the magician or the wizard. You know what I mean? Like,
supposed to be the guy.
Ain't nobody going to take that from you, bro. So, but might be a way out. I mean, honestly, man, I can maybe see Harbaugh in Miami, Cincinnati, New York. I don't know. See him in those places.
I mean, he could. I just, you know, I
couldn't see him in Denver with Elway.
Got to look and see what that buyout is and how much that.
Yeah.
I need to look at that.
Yeah, but I mean, they might be willing to let that slide because it seems like to me Michigan's maybe
a little ready to let him go.
Yeah, I think Michigan news bubbling out there is
maybe they'd be like, oh no, oh how about no, okay,
yeah.
And then secretly like, yes.
One of the fans that I talked to and I actually game with online was kind of like some of the chatter around there is if it wasn't for in that conference, if it wasn't for the stuff that was going on with Ohio State and Urban this year, that probably would have been the biggest story in that conference.
Right. So, makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. The only other thing I want to touch on these the coaching stuff and the carousel a little before we get on from that is Josh McDaniels' name coming up. Obviously, Bengals, Packers are two for sure that I've heard. And, you know, I know all the buzz last year was after what happened with the Colts. That was it. No one's going to interview him for a while and everything else. And automatically you got two teams that have already put in biz to interview him. I find it definitely intriguing. And then I question again, like if he actually takes, because at this point he hasn't confirmed or denied if he's going to take the visits. But if he does take the visits, say to Green Bay or even Cincinnati, whatever, is he really going to leave this time?
I'll interrupt you.
Mm-hmm.
Between me and you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shh. I want somebody to hire him. So old boy over there, Bob Kraft, will get antsy. His butt hairs will start tying into knots. And then he goes, Billy, you got to go. He tells old Belichick to walk on out of here. Goodbye. Give you a parting gift. Cut your check. Goodbye. It's the only way we're going to see our Green Bay dream happen.
I know.
Because we can't see that dream will never start until something happens of some sort of shock factor with Josh McDaniels. If Josh McDaniels walks out to another team, Bob Kraft might stroke.
Well, you know, it's kind of what we said of once he kind of backed out of the Colts deal, we were like, okay, it's unwritten. He's the incumbent. As soon as Hoodie's gone, he'll be the coach of New England. That's what it is. But now I'm finding, you know, I'm definitely the thing that I'm paying the most attention to outside of the playoff games is when and if he accepts an offer to go do an interview with one of these other teams. Yeah. And if he does, I'm like, okay, that definitely changes my thought process of what's going on in New England, son. Just trying to read the tea leaves, brother.
Yeah, I hear you. No doubt. Next up, what do you want to talk about? Cincinnati a little bit?
Good luck to whoever goes there. You know, I mean, at least they got that part of the situation resolved. I mean, we know that Marvin wanted to leave last year. They talked him into coming back. And this season's came and went. They've mutually parted ways again. I've heard they do have interest in Adam Gase. Again,
Vance Joseph too.
Yeah, I mean, A1, you got to decide what you're doing to the quarterback position, and then go from there. And whatever said head coach wants to do with that quarterback position.
Also, another name that came up, surprisingly, Jay Gruden.
Are they trading for him? Because it don't look like Washington's going to move on from him.
They said that the story goes, it's hard to imagine Gruden being fired with all the injuries the Redskins have had this season. But if he is, he'd be on the Bengals short list of candidates.
It's a Bengals hire.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely a Bengals hire.
But see, when I see all the names, and then you said Gase, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I see all the names, then I go, not so confident in Hugh, are you? Because remember, it was pretty much, it was one of them handshake deals. It seemed like, homeboy came back and, and Marvin was going to step on out and, Hugh was just going to jump right in his chair, change out the cushion and sit right back there in the same chair. Yeah.
I mean, I know I talked earlier about Jacksonville and just the whole front office and everything needs a flamethrower. You just light the match, spark the match and walk away. Yep. It's kind of the same thing in Bengals because, with Hugh over the 16 years, not Hugh, excuse me, but with Marvin, 16 years he's been there. They've been to the playoffs 7 times, won the division. They've done some good things. They never got it done in the playoffs, obviously. But there's just too much remnants of that team, like literally fire sale, move the pieces on, get picks, get some youth in there, and go from there. I just, I would go look for a young coach, whether that be Gaze or whoever, I wanted to tie to.
Right.
Say, hey, we're going to move on from A.J. Green. We're going to move on from Dalton. Some of these other pieces on defense are a little longer in the tooth. We're going to get as many assets as we can, and let's try to build this thing together. And I would try to go from there if possible. Yeah, I think that's the right direction for them.
I'll definitely be watching the draft this year to see if they pick up a QB in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Because, this is the time of year where I definitely start digging into the salary cap a little bit more, get back into it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely off-season wise. I'm in it right now. I'm not so much. I definitely have to go look up Andy Dalton and see what his cap numbers are looking like if they can.
We went through that. I think we went through that a couple weeks ago too. Me and you.
Months ago, probably. It seems like weeks ago.
Yeah. No doubt.
But definitely young coach here, fire sale, move on from these pieces and see what you can rebuild with. I think that's just the approach for them. This is not a retooling situation in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
And it can't be, oh, well, we gave this coach a year or two, we're done. No, like, hey, need to bring a guy in, have a 4-year plan. And that's kind of where it needs to be with them.
Yeah. Interesting.
And it's and look, and hey, dear God, I mean, with the Ravens and that young quarterback and Cleveland and that young quarterback, that division is not going to be a slouch either.
Yeah.
It's
the competition, the challenges are definitely ratcheting up. Young defensive players,
right?
This is the stuff I talk about. When you get guys, they don't go in the first round because like you always say, hey man, there's 5 QBs, they're all going in the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without fail. You probably said that now for probably freaking 8 to 10 years that I can recall.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens. And all the big plays that you see that happen on Saturdays,
pushes all them players
all them great defensive talent down the drain. They just push them down the pile. All them applications for the NFL down at the bottom of the pile. Down. Yeah, we're gonna keep on flipping these over until we get to the quarterback because that's what they do. And then all of a sudden they show up. Darius Leonard, for instance. Those type of things will happen. Mm-hmm. So I mean, hey man, look.
I mean, look, just for instance, right now,
mm-hmm.
maybe 2, maybe there's 2 quarterbacks worth going to the top 10, and I'll say that's Greer and Hankins from Ohio State.
No.
2. Watch.
No. I'm not saying that they're not going to go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying 2 things. 1, please, New York, don't draft Haskins. And 2, this QB draft just went, it went from look, let's be honest here.
Sure.
And I'll even throw in a little bit of Giants conversation with you while I say this. Until this kid issued his statement out of Oregon, Justin Herbert, that he was staying for his last year, wants to play with his little brother at the same time, before he leaves. And he probably sees some things in this game that he probably needs to retool before he needs to head off to the NFL. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I know that he has good management at this point. He has secured good management. All right? Until he dropped that statement, it was definitely as far as Giants fans went, it was suck for a duck in a lot of the groups. It was suck for a duck because that was the best thing smoking coming out of the draft for a QB to replace the current situation we have. Okay? And even where we are now in the draft. I mean, unless somebody's coming up mortgaging the farm ahead of us, we probably would have got Herbert. Okay? All right, cool. Wasn't nobody talking about no Haskins at Ohio State. Oh, he's the man. I don't care if he was the third chair at the Heisman Trophy ceremony. I don't care. The only reason we ain't talking about Tua right now is because he ain't coming out yet.
Right.
Okay? And the next thing that you probably be talking about as far as a QB goes after Herbert is probably Kyler Murray. And we know what's going on with him. He going to Oaktown. Okay? Period. So, and look, we can talk about how athletes get paid a whole gang of money to play a kid's game and all that other stuff, but I'm gonna tell you what it is, okay? When you're making more money than your head football coach and you're still playing college football because you've been drafted to the Oakland A's, and then you take a look at the contracts that are out there right now, there's guys out there getting paid $250 million playing baseball. And there's going to be a $300 million, $350 million player before Kyler Murray becomes the star that he probably will be on the baseball field, okay? By the time homeboy gets his big deal done, he's going to be making $350 million or better, okay, when he gets the big deal done, okay? Now, here's the other thing about that. He ain't got to worry about some 300-pound guy like Quinnen Williams laying down on him every Sunday while he's playing football or while he's playing baseball. He ain't going to have to worry about that. Throw, pitch, run a little bit, stretch, have a good time, collect a check. They ain't paying nobody $300 million in the NFL, bro. Just saying. But that whole situation there, Haskins, nah.
Yeah, he'll be in the top 10.
Nah, bro. I'm not saying he won't be top 10. I'm saying he better not go number 6.
Yeah, him, Greer, and they'll probably find a way to they always get 3 in the top 10.
Your boy Daniel Jones is coming out too from Duke.
Yeah, they always get 3 in the top 10, man.
Yeah, but Haskins, he needs to go either before or after 6.
Oh yeah, he going.
You feel me?
Please believe it.
You feel me? Before or after 6. He don't need to go to the Giants.
Could be opportunity for y'all to
shut your mouth.
Well, hold on. I'm talking about your trade down scenario.
Oh, okay.
See,
nah. I think you did like you did with Saquon, man. You go BPA. Like if Quinnen Williams is available, a lot of people in those circles are saying Ed Oliver. But if Quinnen Williams is available or Jonah Williams on the offensive line is available, go grab him.
Okay.
Yeah. But I said it though. You see me saying it? Like,
yeah.
Go shore up the trenches. Grab your DB.
Right.
Take Alec Ogletree. Go put him in concussion protocol for the rest of his career. After Mariota did him dirty.
Oh God.
And
oh my God. What? I don't even know what we're doing anymore.
What, man? I'm just saying. Like, I'm talking about my bro. I talk honest about my squad.
We're talking about some coaches and get some quarterbacks in here, and then somehow, damn it, Alec Ogletree's on the table for life,
bro. I'm just saying. But I told you though.
Oh God.
But I told you though. Like, we turned the mic off. Nobody's listening. It's just me and you. It's just me and you right now. Let's just talk like regular. Hey, Alec Ogletree, concussion protocol. Not sure when he'll return. He's on the commissioner's exempt list for injuries, not other stuff. And hey, when he comes back, if he makes it back, we'll put him in the Ring of Honor or something, and holler back.
Oh my God.
Hey man, that's probably why Mariota got the stinger, because he put the mollywop on old boy with that. I'm just saying, man.
Oh God, I can't. Oh my God,
man.
I'm trying to break myself. I don't even know where to go with that.
What's next? Tampa Bay. Let's talk about Tampa Bay. Who needs to go there?
You did it, sir. Like 20. Look, just shut it down. 2019. We appreciate y'all. Thank you for coming out. Boom. I don't think it gets. That was it. I don't think it's gonna get much better than that for the rest of the year, sir.
Come on, man. God bless. I was just chatting with you.
Bucks.
Yeah.
Bucks.
Yeah.
Can they sell the team?
Can they who?
Can they just sell the team? Can we get new management? Can we get new ownership?
Flamethrower to the Glazer management.
I think it's just time for I think it's time for them to move on.
I think somebody needs to pull one of them. Like I know, like a lot of people like to do now. They'll hire like a little squad or whatever.
Yeah,
like
a little team.
If I like that, like they did with it. Is that what they did with who was it? Was it DeMarcus? That they did that with?
Mm-hmm.
Was it DeMarcus? His agent hired like a squad, like 10 dudes or something like that, and just grabbed him up, put him in the car, and then put him in rehab or whatever it was. Something stupid like that. And yeah, just like everybody go kidnap the Glazer family. I'm not condoning the violence.
No.
Or any federal crimes.
This is for their own good.
I'm just saying, like, take them and then drop them off over there at Man United, where they got that ownership stake. Right. Go on over there and then drop them off over there. I think they'll like it over there anyway. They might still be there.
Yeah, fish and chips for everyone.
Yeah.
With Stoudale.
Hey, man. The GM has also come out and said, too, like, it doesn't matter whether it's defensive coach or offensive coach. Just know that Jameis is your QB.
I mean, which is okay. I mean, which is fine. I mean, we like that from. It's cool for him to say that now, but you didn't say that during the season, though.
Sure.
See, I mean, and it's just that kind of thing with that whatever's going on there.
Sure.
I mean, basically, it kind of seemed like you had an idea, right? Here's we have the coach, and Cutter at that time was the offensive coordinator. We drafted Jameis, and he's the first one there, and he's got people buying in, and he comes out his rookie year, plays well, looks like everything's going, and then you get to the offset. The defense wasn't the greatest. We understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Year one, though,
mm-hmm.
Lovie Smith, bye. And then your idea was, well, he did so well, with Cutter, we'll keep Cutter. And then you kind of let that stretch out.
Tough.
And then you had Michael Smith, and the defense didn't get any better with him, and and then he got let go. And then what?
How many running backs they've been through?
I mean, just how many everything have they ran through?
Right.
You basically wasted Joe McCoy's career.
You went and traded for a eight finger defensive player who's the star of your defensive team when Gerald McCoy was before you brought him there.
And then the other thing too is,
and he's not even guaranteed to stay. I already heard that from the GM too.
It's like you're playing a certain defense. Lovie Smith comes there, so you're trying to get the pieces to go back to a cover 2 defense. Then you get rid of him. So now you're trying to get the pieces to get to Michael Smith's defense.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get rid of him, and you just got a whole bunch of mixed. There's no symmetry. You don't have anything set to play whatever this person wants to play.
You know what I think? No, though, with all the moves and the impending moves that are coming, like as we look ahead, right?
Right.
Washington doesn't work out. I think Jay Gruden's gone. Atlanta, that was one you said was on the hot seat.
Yeah.
You said old Quinn was heating up. Yeah, that's another one. When you start looking at Minnesota, that's another one. You drop the oil in the pan and turn on the flame. Hey, you're starting to heat up. And hey, man, I mean, just as a side note, a mention here. Hey, for a second there, during the early part of the season, we thought Pete Carroll. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I mean, that's supposedly been laid to rest. And then there's other
extension.
Yeah, there's a couple squads out there that I'm not thinking of right now. But I say that to say this: when you look to find the replacement or the head coach for the Bucks, I don't think you're going to get him this offseason. I think you're going to get him after the hot seat let goes or releases after next season.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
I don't think you're gonna find that dude now.
I mean, maybe this is if you're prying the hardball from Michigan away, maybe this is the spot. Maybe he has a quarterback he thinks maybe that's
Nah, I think it's Miami, man.
Think it's Miami?
Yeah, I mean,
the only thing about the Miami situation is this, and the thing that I'll say is, to me, anyways, since Ross has taken over as the owner of that team,
yeah,
he does seem committed to winning.
Yeah,
he hasn't found a way. He's tried to bring in football guys. He knew he had enough. He had the wherewithal to understand. Okay, I have this quarterback that we took. Top 10. We paid him. We need to fix him. Let me bring in a coach that can. So he's trying to match up and do things the right way.
Right.
So that job's not so unattractive to me because as long as you have an owner that's willing, I think there's a way to get things done.
Well, there's the connection. I mean, everybody's going to come court this guy. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
You're going to have Jeter coming out. You're going to have J-Lo coming out.
Right.
You're going to have A-Rod's probably going to show up because J-Lo and him are together. And some other guys that are down there, players and things of that nature. Yeah. They're going to they're going to do the Miami thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, hey, you might even get Pat Riley to show up. I mean,
maybe that's maybe it is. Maybe you're onto something there. Maybe they do need a superstar coach there, and that's the problem that they haven't had in forever.
But I say all that to say, they named a business school after Ross in Michigan.
Uh-huh.
You hear me? That's his alma mater. So
no
I definitely think that if homeboy can be pried loose, it's going to be Ross that's going to do the prying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can look to the ultimate situation all you want. I definitely think that Harbaugh would definitely profit from having total control.
Although I will
once
say,
you got somebody else making moves for you, you at their mercy.
Yeah. Although, with that being Ross's alma mater,
mm-hmm.
that the boosters and stuff be like, "Hey, you're coming to taking our coach." Dude, it gets some murky water there.
Hey, man,
a little murky. But if they want to move on from him, though,
yeah, but
then there's that backdoor agreement.
Them Michigan boosters ain't Texas boosters. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's billionaires, but they ain't more billionaires than there is in Texas football. You know what I'm saying? So you probably won't have that type of brushback. It just
right.
It's just a little bit different, and I just honestly think he needs to move on from there. I mean, it's a constant carousel. The conference is changing. Urban Meyer's out of there,
right.
And even if he were to be better than he was this year, and have some more success, and now they're in the playoff next year, all they're gonna say is, well, it's only because Urban Meyer's gone.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be chasing that ghost period as long as he's there now.
Yeah, so
because he's gone. So, but
we'll see.
I mean,
we'll see. But that's gonna wrap it up, man. I think I didn't even think we went that long, but I mean, we
did we? How much time we got? I guess we went about 2 hours, huh? About 2.
I was trying to be 145 because I know we're going to talk about coaches a little bit.
Well, as soon as you started talking about forever concussion protocols, sir. Oh, man, I'll tell you what, though, no doubt. Whew, I'm ecstatic for this weekend, man. The greatest day football. Texas two-step Saturday.
I'm a tweet. I'm a tweet Marcus Mariota this weekend. I'm gonna ask him if he got that stinger from when he hit Ogletree.
Yeah, ask him see what it's
like. Back.
Oh man, there's gonna be some happy people, some sad people,
as usual.
There'll be some memes flying.
People gonna be loading up them fishing lures and them rods,
them chairs.
Yes, sir.
Have a seat.
Them worms.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
some people going on.
You're gonna have champagne or you're gonna have worms.
Oh man, that's what it is. It's to the nitty gritty. When you get to the final 12, it's
champagne or worms.
Man, that part.
Hey man, what's on deck for the week, bro? I mean, you want to Knicks at 6?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna try not to die. Yeah, I'm gonna try not to die.
Yeah,
so I'm doing a pretty good job right now. I actually made it through this.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to prep up and get y'all Knicks at 6 out. Maybe a little playoff edition style.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we won't do a Friday preview show because, well, you know what's coming. It's playoffs weekend. I mean, there's no need for that. I definitely think we'll be back next week for sure. As the season winds down, I mean, there'll be a little bit less content. We definitely won't have any Friday preview shows. And you know, we got other stuff that we got in the can that, you know, we got coming. So, I mean, as we work on those things to try to get us better, get you more content and deliver the things that you guys are looking for. The content as far as Deep in the Huddle goes, we'll kind of dial back. Probably look to do a Knicks and Six maybe twice a month. And that's about it. As things goes on, we'll probably ratchet up a little bit more too as the draft comes. So
free agency and stuff like
free
that.
Agency starts. So those type of things, we'll definitely revisit, and and we'll probably just go live for those. And
fair enough.
As everybody, it's about that time, next couple of weeks or whatever, everybody's head hurts. All the football, all the scores, all the playoff algebra you had to do, to watch your team get in and that type of stuff. So, but anything else you want to add? Happy New Year, Huddlers.
Yeah, Huddlers.
We love you all.
We love you all.
The march to 1,000 members.
Pray for me. Pray for me in this flu.
Quit whining.
Oh yeah, and then of course the march. Yeah, we're almost to 1K.
Yeah,
almost to that 1K.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, maybe try to get that stretch goal for 1,500 by the draft.
And I need to see more interaction. I need that. I need that from you people. I like what I see, but I need to see more.
Yeah.
Shout out to the admins. We got G-Dub, AD.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jermaine Adams. Shout out to Reezy. Shout out to Billy Knight.
Yeah.
Shout out to Johnny Five. Heard you was in Florida. Didn't call me.
Oh.
Yeah. John Witten. Yeah. Ooh. I got beef with you, cuz.
Oh.
Yeah. Other than
tough
that.
sledding.
Yeah. Other than that, anything else? Nah,
brother. That's it from me.
We thank y'all for coming out. God bless.
Peace.
Deep in the Huddle. We're out.